the Fantasy Waiver Wire.
Like the fantasy football Santa Claus, dude. You just run around giving us gifts of guys to pick up. Last week it was Blake Corum, 71 yards, a touchdown on 11 touches. It's 5 straight weeks that our top guy has scored at least one tutty after you've told us to pick him up. Dave, please continue doing the Lord's work.
4 or 5 weeks, yeah, something like that. Pretty cool. I wish I could get them all in all my games. I'll tell you what I did this week that didn't work out in a single parlay, but I tried because I was in 3 fantasy playoffs down to just 1, unfortunately. 200 points scored by the, as I mentioned on Thursday, formidable Mac Douglas's team, who Trevor Lawrence, 6 touchdowns, Trey McBride, 2 touchdowns, Tyrone Tracy, 2 touchdowns, Devin Neal, a touchdown, Jawan Jennings, 2 touchdowns. I mean, the guy had a perfect fantasy week. I had Travis Etienne, who had his best game of his career, 3 touchdowns. Guess what? All receiving. So, and 6-point passing touchdowns. So I got basically nothing out of these out of my Travis Etienne Yeah, crazy week. So I couldn't even take advantage of all my recommendations. Hats off to you, Commissioner Mac Douglas, as you advance, and I do not. But yeah, playoffs continue for many of us. For me, in just one more league. And hopefully we can help you find at least 1 or 2 final guys down the stretch here. Start off with the running backs, as we always do. Time is a flat circle, folks. Bill Krosky Merritt, the August darling, the early season. This guy is going to steal the show. I dropped him after like week 6 or 7. It was over. He faded into obscurity. And then Chris Rodriguez was a late rule out for this game. Bill sees his opportunity. I picked him up at 12:45 and plugged him into a league. I did not win, but it was a move I very much needed to make, as Kyle Monangai didn't do anything, and that's who I played him over. But he absolutely took advantage of this opportunity. Career high 18 touches, nearly cracked 100 yards with a touchdown. If Rodriguez is out again, Bill should thrive against an Eagles defense giving up over 100 yards per game over the past 5 weeks. Currently, we got C-Rod in the projections, so this will either be reflective of what it looks like with him in or not accurate to what it will be if he's ruled out. But just 27 yards and 20% TD probability for Bill Krosky Merritt right now. Obviously, will undoubtedly go up if he's out. If you want a guy who will be the RB1 unquestionably, it's Michael Carter of the Cardinals. Kind of circling back to him as we did earlier this year. Bam Knight took over. But he was carted off with an ankle injury, leaving Carter as the lead back. He handled 18 touches for 56 rushing and 38 receiving yards. Amari DiMercato played just 7 snaps to his 53. So while our projections have 42 yards and 22% touchdown probability for Carter and 33 yards and 29% for DiMercato, I think that is going to skew a little more heavily in favor of Michael Carter. Get some pretty soft matchups versus the Falcons and Bengals coming up. If you really need a running back, you might have yourself a little league winner here with a like RB2 upside, I'd say. Maybe even, I wouldn't say RB1, RB2, 3 fringe, but he should at least have the volume for 2 upside. And Jawar Jordan, heard of this guy? I admit I had not before this week, but he took 15 touches for 101 rushing yards and caught 2 passes for 17 yards in relief of Woody Marks, who was banged up going into the game and then left the game early. He's been reverted back to the practice squad, but if Chubb and Marks aren't healthy this week, I wouldn't really even worry about Chubb for the most part, unless they just want to lean veteran in that. He should get the call and get called back up to the active roster. Gets the Raiders, who just got blanked 31-0. Plenty of garbage time, and we're in a blowout situation upside for Jawar Jordan if that is the case. We won't have any projections for him while he's on the practice squad, though, so nothing for you there. But, someone to look for. Probably won't get scooped up if his fantasy projection is low, so keep an eye on him throughout the week. Moving to receivers, I really just got one for you. Jaden Reed for the Packers, 41% rostered. He's caught 9 of 10 targets since coming back from IR. It's over his past 2 games. Christian Watson is now likely to miss some time. He's in our projections. He's not been ruled out yet, but he's got a chest injury. He was knocked out pretty hard. He was down on the field pretty good and he left the game and did not return. A guy who's had injury problems in the past, wouldn't be surprised if he misses at least one game. Jaden Reed is tied for the, or he did tie, excuse me, for the team lead in receiving yards versus very excellent Broncos defense last week, giving him huge upside against a Bears defense that's been pretty soft this year against the pass. Projected for only 30.5 yards and 24% TD probability, but as mentioned, Watson's not ruled out. So that should vacate some yards and scoring equity if that were to happen. Also, probably just a good stash either way. But I will say I don't think there were really any big receiver injuries or anything this past week. So you may not have a void. If you've made it to the playoffs, you're probably pretty set on your receivers. So just
Can I just say that I'm so sick of the Packers receiver room.
It's so annoying.
And I say this as like a rival fan, but it's hard to bet. It's hard to trust in fantasy. It's hard to watch at times. Like all these dudes are talented. Watson's amazing. Reed is good. I think Golden's really promising. But Dobbs is awesome. And like because there's 4 of them and they just come in and out for 2 weeks at a time and then disappear because none of them can stay healthy. There's zero consistency. I don't think this offense is as good as it should be. And you're right. Like Reed's probably going to be the beneficiary of Watson's now lingering issues. And he could be a league winner potentially if he has one good week at the right time. It drives me crazy trying to sort through it every single week.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He should theoretically be the guy who gets the targets, but Dontavian Wicks ain't going anywhere. Romeo Doubs will siphon a couple of those. Matthew Golden, I haven't even seen him in a box score in weeks. I don't know if he was hurt or what, but he finally popped with a big catch this past week. So I don't know. Just a guy worth looking at as someone who should absorb some volume here. And we'll close out here pretty quickly. 2 tight ends. Darren Waller, I mean, if he was drafted in your leagues like he was in mine, go get him. Scored 22 fantasy points, 7 catches, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns on Monday Night Football. Gets a home matchup. Good for Tua against the Bengals. Good for everyone this week. Projected for 29.8 yards, 29.3% TD probability. I believe in Darren Waller this week against the Bengals, who have been terrible against tight ends and somehow did not see Isaiah Likely or Mark Andrews pop off this past week. Kobe Parkinson for the Rams, 4% rostered, 6 touchdowns in his past 6 games. Coming off his best was 75 yards and 2 touchdowns. I actually don't know how this guy is only 4% rostered. Just people overlooking him, already set with their rosters down the stretch, but 6 touchdowns in 6 weeks is absolutely insane. Adams is hurt. He's a huge red zone target for Stafford. 33.8 yards and a 33.5% TD probability for Parkinson. And we'll close with one QB who I think can take you to the promised land here in the semifinals. It's Tua Tagovailoa, folks. I know it's Tua, but you got to play matchups in fantasy, especially in the playoffs, and there are basically no matchups better than playing against the Bengals, who hemorrhage fantasy points to opponents. This is more stock than I would normally put in the Fins in clutch times, but if the waivers come through for me and I can get them both, I am playing the Tua Darren Waller stack over Jackson Dart and Jake Ferguson, who are currently on my roster right now, and hoping that can take me to the finals. Projections are 17.1 fantasy points, 222.4 passing yards for Tua. Excuse me. I think possible nuclear spot for him right here. I mean, he could dump off to Devin A-Chain, who takes 160 yards to the house, and that's all points for Tua. So, Tua Waller is a big stack for me this week. Willing to die on that hill because the matchups for Jackson Dart and Jake Ferguson are very unideal.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I feel like fantasy football every single year comes down, like your matchup with Mac, comes down to matchups, comes down to exactly which team randomly pops off. It's not like the Jaguars have been the number 1 force in fantasy football this year, but the right team at the right time can win you a league. And that's why when you draft, I mean, if we did this pod pre-draft, we'd probably be talking about circle which teams have good matchups in week 15, week 16. Mm-hmm. And this is some good data. I feel like the Dolphins could be absolutely one of those stories that wins you a league when nobody expects it. So thank you as always, Dave. Who's the core of your one team that's still in the playoffs?
Jackson Dart. Oh, man, it's my running backs. I got Bijan, Etienne, Henderson, and I scooped back up Tyron Tracy. So I'm actually in an issue where I don't – and I got Aaron Jones, who has a great matchup this week. So it probably sounds like a 8-person league, but it's not. I had to finagle some moves here. And my receivers are Pickens and Egbuka, so it's not exactly stacked there right now. I mean, Pickens was a steal. He emerged. He was better than anyone thought. Egbuka's both of them kind of fallen off though. So
yeah,
I need that Tua Waller stack, baby. I need that shit to come through for me.
That's a good team. You got some tactical running back room decisions this week.
Yeah.
Best of luck to you, my friend.
I think I'm sitting at the end. We'll see.
I mean,
Broncos.
Yeah, probably so. That makes sense. I can't comment. I had none of my important teams in the playoffs this year for the first time in 11 years of doing this. So back to the drawing board. Next year, maybe I'll listen to your fantasy advice week to week and get there.
We'll have preseason fantasy pods.
Exactly that.